Good evening, Twitch, and hello anyone watching us on YouTube. This is your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger, and I am joined by the best co-host, the one and only Mutant Gingy.
Mutant Gingy in the house, let's go.
Let's go 8-0.
Let's go 8-0. Let's go 8-0.
Oh shoot, they got over. This is a bad. I have
Bad
made
start.
a terrible decision.
Bad start.
I feel like the
Mulligan.
Steelers coming out of the gate, bro. That
Oh.
was not fun at all.
Well, we
Oh,
better
man.
we better not be the Steelers coming out of the gate, because that would be a pretty much 25-0 start equivalent in Halo.
No kidding. Anyway, let's look around what happened in Week 9 in the NFL.
Some humble pie for the gallant Tom Brady.
Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, woo! He just does not seem to be able to beat Drew Brees.
Didn't look good there.
Bad start for the Antonio Brown era, huh?
Yeah, that was to be expected though. Patriots squeaked
Unless-
by in a close one.
When you can barely beat the Jets, that's like, are the Jets even a pro football team at this point? Like, I'm pretty sure Alabama or Clemson would line up and just humiliate that team.
Ooh, that'd be a tough one, Donkey. I don't know about that, but it'd be close, I think.
I mean, that's just, that's a bad football team, bro. Oh, I almost killed you with that sticky. Watch out. Good dodge there. I want to go to Josh Allen out-dueling Russell Wilson.
That is the game that I wanted to talk about. That's probably the biggest
Bro!
turner right there. That's the head turner.
Okay, I'll admit, that kid coming out of college, I was so down on him. I'm like, Josh Allen can't complete passes in college. He's inaccurate. How's he going to make it in the pros? That kid is a stud. Cannon, a lot more accurate than I thought he would ever be. He
Yeah, how about...
just went out there and showed it, and he did it in Buffalo. That's not an easy spot to throw a football.
The Seattle defense is historically bad.
That's true, but
Historically
still,
bad.
The thing is, at the end of the game there, I felt I wanted Josh Allen with the football and not Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I really don't know if that's a reality or an illusion that occurred for you there, Donkey. But I don't know if I would call that regularly. Russell Wilson is playing lights out, man. He carries that
No
team.
doubt.
He carries that team. There's another 30-point performance where the defense gives up 44 to the Bills. I mean, granted, Bills are no scrubs. Bills are no scrubs, and that was a good game.
Wow,
It was
3v1
good
and
measuring.
you're a teabag like you're good, kid.
It was good measuring. It's a good measuring stick for both teams. It points at, you know, all those teams in the NFC, they all have laid a dud this season. Packers, Bucks, Seahawks, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
They
They all have
They're
taken their
all
chances, and they've all gone one
are
way or the other.
They're all team with flaws, for sure. None of them are unbeatable. But how about those Packers?
That
They were
when Aaron Rodgers is on, that team is very, very good. I mean, that's
Very,
just
very.
another good quarterback. But I want to talk about a quarterback on the different type of the scales. Now, I understand he won this Thursday night game, and that being Phillip Rivers. But I don't really take Thursday night games seriously because that's not real football. Teams don't get a prep. It's an unprepped football game. It is what it is. But he gets a chance to show what he's about and just lays an egg against the Baltimore Ravens.
He
Like, a
did.
super egg.
Yeah, it was
That
bad.
was trash, and that's what I always think of Phillip Rivers. I'm always like, yeah, he's a guy that comes up, a little short every time in a big situation, and it looks like he's the same guy. And I don't know how you can feel if you're Indy there. Like, yeah, sure, he's leading us to right now. I think they're in the division lead, but are we going to win in the playoffs with him, or should we turn the saddles back to Brissett?
They allowed Baltimore to execute their style of game. I mean, the first half was reachable. Second half, they ran them into the ground, and they wore out that defense, and it was ugly. That's how Baltimore typically wins.
Truth.
They looked a lot better on Thursday night.
Yeah, but like I said, I think Thursday night games are just illusions. I don't think you should ever judge anything off one of those fake football games.
It's different. It's definitely different.
And I mean, it is what it is. I also saw Alex Smith get back out there and throw a touchdown. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions as well in a game that somebody had to win. They were playing the Giants, right?
Yeah. Then Giants ended up winning that, right?
I think
20,
so.
23-20.
Yeah. In a game that,
NFC
someone's
East.
going to win that football game.
NFC East.
Woo.
Speaking
Are
about
we going to have
NFC,
a division winner without a winning record?
Speaking of NFC East, Donkey, how about them boys?
Oh, boy. We'll get into that a lot more and a lot later. But there's a couple other things I saw out there. So why is the play clock hitting 0 not reviewable? I mean, the Texans scored a huge touchdown against the Jaguars when that play clock seemed like it was on 0 for like 4 seconds. I'm going to be honest with you. How is that thing not reviewable with all the shit you can review? And that's a game-changing thing that you can't review because NFL rules. I mean, we can't trust a referee to tell when there's 0 on the clock, but you sure as hell believe we aren't going to let you challenge the opinion of a referee, even if it's blatantly obvious and wrong.
Yeah, New York should have to step in there.
And then I also want to give a shout-out to Patty Mahomes, fastest ever quarterback to hit 100 TDs.
I mean, he's real good.
And there was actually 3 things I'd like to fix from last week. I didn't give a shout out for Mike Tomlin for becoming the winningest regular season African-American coach in NFL history. Props to him. He did that last week. That's a huge accomplishment and shows how long he's been doing a really good job here, let's be honest.
Woot woot. Heck of a shout out.
Heck yeah. And did you see Mims from Chicago try to sucker punch that cornerback from New Orleans last week or 2 weeks ago?
I didn't see it.
What was he doing? Like, I'm just gonna punch you in the helmet. Like, bro, even if you, what do you plan on happening? Even if it works?
Wow.
Like, I didn't understand that one. Whatever. And one of the greatest quotes I think I've ever seen: Chase Claypool losing. I've never heard of her.
I don't know about that, Donkey.
That was 2 weeks ago, too. I thought that stuff was awesome, and I wanted to get that out there because I completely forgot to mention it. And we also have the No Fun League showing itself again. 2 weeks ago, James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster got fined for wearing their socks too low.
Really?
Seriously? Yeah.
Wow.
Both received fines for wearing their socks too low, of all
That's
things.
really unfortunate.
That's really, really, really stupid, but it is what it is. I mean, cool. I don't understand the NFL there. But let's get into what you want to talk about. Them boys.
Tell me about
America's
them boys.
football team. I told you Garrett Gilbert was the better choice for quarterback than Ben DiNucci.
Yeah, they had us right where they wanted us, and they let us off the hook.
They are who we thought they were, which is an overly hyped,
Ain't that the truth?
poorly coached football team. I hate to say this, but when a coach who's a longtime coach from another team gets fired and no one wants him for a year, there's probably a reason.
Yeah.
Like, you should not be trying to go out and make that guy, well, we want someone who's not just a sitting post. Like, that's why you fired, oh my gosh, what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett. That's why you fired Garrett, is you didn't want a sitting post. You wanted a guy who could go out there and coach. And you hired that dude who failed with Aaron Rodgers?
I don't...
Like, Mike McCarthy was your choice? All right. That's a
Yeah,
thing,
I'm
I
not
guess.
sure. You know, Jerry Jones has already said he's committed to him or whatever. I don't know what that's all about. But in terms of what I saw in the game, the Steelers got absolutely wrecked in the first half. They had no idea what they were doing. It looked very confusing.
Tyson Alu is the most important member of that running defense.
Ain't that the
Without
truth?
Alu, we have just got the ball absolutely shoved down our throat. Asked if we wanted seconds,
100.
and when we heard seconds, we're like, fists? Yeah, we'll take a helping of fists. Like, my God.
100%.
Not having Alu, the worst thing that could have happened to this team. Thank
It's
God he's
so
supposed to
true.
be back this week because,
Please.
boy.
So important in the middle on the D there.
But you know what? The defense played, in my opinion, pretty good, considering the offense tried to give that game away. Let's be honest here. Ben and that offense tried to give the game away, and the defense kept us in it. So I'm not going to knock on them too much, because they were on the field, it seemed like the whole goddamn game, dude.
Played well enough. Classic bend but don't break Steelers, you know.
And you know me, and you know I've been an absolute hater of the, well, we only play defense inside the 20 type of defense that we've played since you and me have watched the Steelers, right? But you know what? There's something to be said about it, and they are super successful doing it. So I'm going to give props here. I hate that style of defense, but you know what? It works for them, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean it does well enough, and because what it is playmakers, turnovers at the second half and the second half and the first half, both key turnovers that allowed the Steelers to come away with that one, even though they really, a lot of areas they didn't deserve it. One of them being the run game. No push up front. Absolutely no push up front. Let's talk about 2 4th and 1s in which they absolutely got wrecked.
So first off, the first 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 scenario that I'm sure we're going to get into, how is James Conner not taking either of those carries? How is it McFarland and then Benny Snell?
What's going on there, Donkey? Do you think there's an issue with lack of trust in coaching?
I've told you this before. I think Fechner is trash. The offense performs so much better when his ass is out of the way and Ben is calling football plays. That says enough about it. Like, Fechner is pure, nice damage there, Gingy, pure trash, dude. And I'm sick of watching him play. I'm sick of us holding on to coordinators just because we like continuity. I mean, here's another one I'm going to call out. I called Danny Smith out to get fired after week 2, and then the special teams actually played good. But here we go again with the special teams. That number 98 was in the backfield of every field goal, 3 yards deep every time, and we don't adjust. We can't kick a field goal to go up 8 points.
And in fact,
because that guy's going to block it.
Here's when you know that it's a problem, Donkey. I think that second 4th down that Mike Tomlin went for was solely because he knew that if he sent his field goal unit out there a 3rd time, it was getting blocked.
Nightwing was going to be in the backfield, or Boswell's going to shank him. Boswell.
And when your lack of confidence on special teams causes your head coach to make a decision that he doesn't want to make, that's when you know football team, because they should not have that big a role.
But I got to give props to Chris Boswell. He set a Steeler record as a 59-yard field goal thanks to Cam Hayward false starting on the 53-yarder that he shanked.
Yeah, I was going to say thanks to the Steelers' mistake that allowed them to correct a miss.
Best false start of Hayward's career. Good job, Cam. Also, more shout-outs to Cam Hayward, not only for letting that happen, but for one-arming an offensive lineman to the ground like a baby, bro.
Absolutely.
That was lit.
Beastly. So
strong. Explain to me how Jordan Berry kicks a 70-yard punt and no one covers the guys on the side.
That's the special teams. That's that Danny Smith thing you were talking about.
Explain to me how Danny Smith gets a 15-yard penalty, does a pooch kick, and they get the ball at like the 50-yard line because we can't cover anything.
Again, we'll refer back to that first statement.
Explain to me how we have literally 0 offense in the first half.
Well, that is a much longer story. What's up? It has to start up front, Donkey, with the offensive line. I don't think that.
Oh, you want some stats? I have some fun stats for you. So, since David DeCastro's been back, we're averaging under 100 yards rushing in games he starts this year, or in games where he plays over 50% of the snaps this year.
Oh, I don't want. Yeah.
Okay, and then I did this, so the games he started was against the Texans, Titans, Ravens, and Cowboys, which, by the way, all of them give up, on average, over 120 yards a game, or about 120 yards a game, except for the Ravens. They're at like 107.
Okay.
The Steelers only broke 100 yards once, and that was against the Texans with him on the field. In terms of comparing our rushing yards to the average rushing yards those teams give up, we're 182 yards below average when DeCastro starts in 4 games. That's 50 yards below average rushing when DeCastro starts. And I noticed it, and the game I really noticed it was the Eagles game. When DeCastro got hurt, the running game got better with Kevin Dotson. because there was at least a little bit of a push. DeCastro has got no push this year. And if you're curious, the 4 games where Dotson has got the majority of the snaps,
Yeah.
the Steelers have 515 yards, or over 100 yards a game, over 125 yards a game when Dotson gets the majority of the snaps. And compare that to the opponent's average there, we're plus 63, or 63 more yards than they average giving up in those 4 games. And in all 4 of those games that Dotson has started, we've run the ball for 100+ yards. I'm not blaming this purely on David DeCastro, but the game to me that showed it was the Eagles game. DeCastro got hurt and our running game got better.
Yeah, that's not good.
That dude standing right beside Pouncey, the 2 highest paid, well, not anymore, but used to be the 2 highest paid players at their position respectively, are getting dominated. Every running play, they're in the backfield. Like, I haven't seen either one of them earn a paycheck.
Yeah,
That's
not
Invincible
good.
Dude, just a nice night. I mean, I don't even know what to say, and it's embarrassing, to be honest with you. The last 2 starts, we had less than 50 rushing yards our last 2 games.
It's embarrassing, but I think it's fixable. Okay, this is not beyond a point of no return here.
But to fix it, do we have to bench DeCastro? And would the Steelers even be willing to bench DeCastro?
The question is can DeCastro step up and play to the potential that we know that he can, and he has.
Yeah, a guy who gets, and to be honest, all pros were a little more based off his name than based off his play, because the dude had like 1,000 holding penalties the last 2 years. And honestly, ever since he signed that contract, his play has been good, but he's been making either too many penalties or this year just getting blown up too often. For a guy who's getting that kind of money.
Speaking of penalties, I'll tell you there were some boneheaded penalties by the Dallas Cowboys in the second half of that football game that really
Vander Esch trying to punch McFarland.
Cost them dearly. Cost them so dearly, donkey.
Yeah, it did. But, I will tell you what, though. Even though that game was going terrible, I felt good about it because in the first half, I mean, we're only down 16-9. And how about this crazy sequence? Ben gets his knee hurt, goes down, scores a touchdown, leaves for halftime because they're like, hey, let's give him a little extra work, which makes sense. And then ball magnet Minka gets the ball, and we're like, Mason Rudolph?
There he came, waltzing in there like the ghost of Christmas past, giving me shivers up and down my spine, donkey.
I mean, that was... It was what it was. I mean, it turned out well. He got us a field goal. Hey, give him credit. He got a little bit of yardage. He didn't look too terrible.
It didn't look good.
No, but he got us 3 points. And let's be honest, those 3 points came up kind of big in this football game.
They did.
But, yeah, and then there's another play. Okay, so I am a firm believer that when you're a losing team, you have to play to win. You can't just sit around and let the game come to you. The Cowboys have a 4th and inches of running the ball down our throat, and they don't go for it.
Soft.
I'm sitting on my couch right there, and this is what I said. I said, oh my God, we win this game. Like, there was no doubt in my mind after that happened, we win this game, because when you're a bad football team, you can't play to lose, or not to win. And that was a knock we had so much on Tomlin in the past, is he was afraid to play to win. You know what? This year, he's been a lot more aggressive, and I think it shows in our record. He's playing to win. We're going for it on 4th and 1s, even when we get absolutely manhandled. But we're doing it. Yeah. We're trying.
We are getting manhandled. It's ugly.
But I think the play to win attitude is infectious. And I think that's such a huge thing. And to me, that is where Tomlin has made his biggest step this year. Is he used to be one of those coaches that played not to lose. This year, it looks like he's willing to play to win. And I love it, personally.
Biggest question for me is still what is up with James Conner?
Dude, Barry Sanders couldn't run behind our offensive line right now. And if you saw those offensive lines Barry Sanders had to run behind, bro, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I did. I saw them. Barry Sanders, sweet.
Like, look at every run play from last week, and all but his 8-yard run, there was a missed block by the front 5. Every single one of them had a missed block.
True.
Like, you're not going to have success in the run game when every time someone misses a block. Here's a good example. So we get that last 4th and 1 where we finally decide to put Connor on the field. Fucking Vance McDonald's not only false starts, he whiffs on the most important block on a counter play. The most important block is blocking the defensive end. And Vance McDonald false starts to just whiff on Gregory. Like, why are you even on the field with your COVID ass and trying to infect Ben and shit? Dude, you might as well just stayed home.
Trying.
Because you sure as hell didn't play.
Trying. Is the key word there. Didn't happen. No COVID, no plague.
Man, that offense, I have very few good things to say about them. Because while Ben did lead a second half comeback, while Ben did make some big time throws in big situations, he just isn't accurate with the football. The whole first half was because of Ben throwing behind Deontay Johnson, throwing low to 6'4" Chase Claypool. And yeah, we could argue that Claypool maybe should have caught that out early in the game. I think it was a 3rd and 7, but he would have been a yard short anyway. But Ben's still throwing it at his ankles rather than up high to the tall kid. And if you saw later in the game, when you throw it up high, he's going to catch the football.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I hear all that. But we still come out 8-0. And there's some big things that I do want to talk about. There was a big throw to touchdown Juju Smith-Schuster, in which where he was first hit at the 6-yard line, Donkey, and he muscled.
Yeah, he came up big.
3 dudes into the end zone. Let's go. That was.
I want to see more James
play.
Washington on the field, dude. You want to talk about the double move king? James Washington.
Oh man, he was there.
3 of the past 4 weeks, he just double moves on that slant, and Ben just gives that great pump, and James Washington's in there. Touchdown. Let's go Steelers.
That was a great pump, though.
Pretty. It was. But then, so this is what kills me, Ben. That pretty pump, that throw, it's on place. Ben gets the guy drawn off sides, and then he throws the ball 30 yards away from Chase Claypool. Doesn't even give him a chance to catch it on a free play. Like,
whoopsie.
What the hell is that about? And that's not the first time. Watch the last 3 weeks. That's happened like 2 or 3 times the last 3 weeks, where he gets a guy on offsides and then throws the ball 20 yards past a receiver. That's alarming.
Yeah,
you can't be doing that against good football teams.
No.
You can't be starting with an offer against a good football team. And I'm not trying to be overly cynical here, because we are 8-0. It's great to see. But we're not a team that wants to make the playoffs, Gingy. We don't want to make the playoffs. We want to win a Super Bowl. We want to win a Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, this isn't Super Bowl caliber play.
Ain't that the truth?
You do this shit against the Chiefs, you're going to be down 40-0.
They find a way, man, to make it happen. It's inspiring, though. Defensive plays at the end of the Minkah Fitzpatrick. Donkey.
I'm worried about this defense getting worn out. How often they're on the field. Look at all the injuries that have already mounted up on that defense. I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you, our depth outside of maybe cornerback is sus.
You don't like Mondo Mondu?
I liked him when he actually tackled, I think it was Pollard, but I didn't like him when he got shaked out of his boots by Gilbert.
He did too. But, you know, you don't like the dude who looks like he's going to come over to your house and ask if he can crash on your couch?
Dude, he's gonna fucking cake stand that icy light. That's what he's gonna do. No, I am not a huge fan of him, except for when he's playing fullback and got that huge block the day after I told you I love seeing defensive linemen play fullback. Yeah, I think it was in the Baltimore game, right? Was that the right game?
Yeah,
I loved that. That was fun. The rest of Icy Light Boy, though, nah, man, I am not a huge fan of Icy Light Boy.
Yeah. How about Ebron?
Oh, he has a sword.
How about Ebron with a highlight reel?
Poster.
Yeah.
Poster. Ebron is a matchup nightmare. I loved that signing when we did it. I love it even more today because that dude is a straight up baller.
Yeah. He's putting in the work. It's looking good. Oh, stuck your sword, boy.
Nice. But there was a lot of good things, but I mean, I don't want to dwell on the bad stuff too much, but it's a repeat.
I don't either.
I think what I'm more upset about is it's a repeat bad thing, and a lot of it's coaching. Like, I think Fichtner's terrible. Our offense looks better when he doesn't call plays. And I don't know. I mean, here is a huge thing to me, too. So when I say coaching, this is what I want to talk about. Keith Butler. The Cowboys have 2 tight ends in on 3rd and 6. We're in our dime package. The Cowboys run it down our throat for 13 yards. Clearly, why the hell are we in our dime package against a double tight end set? Okay, cool. Maybe it was a mistake. There's a 3rd down, and I think it was the very next 3rd down. It might have been on the same drive. It's 3rd and 5. They're in 4 wide receivers, and we're in fucking base defense watching Vince Williams try to cover CD goddamn Lamb. And this is after earlier in the game, CD Lamb torched TJ Watt for a touchdown.
Yeah, torched TJ did, though.
Are we intentionally putting our players in situations they can't succeed? As a coaching staff, I'm not blaming Tomlin. I'm blaming the coordinators here. Are they intentionally putting these players in situations they can't win?
Do we have the personnel? Who would we line up there in this? It must be a package thing, Donkey.
My question, that's what I'm saying, though. The package is fine, but the Cowboys are in 2 tight ends. We're in dime defense. The Cowboys are in 4 wide receivers. We're in base defense on 3rd down. Why is that what we're lining up in? That's terrible coaching. That's losing before the play happens. You can't lose before the play happens.
If those are the sets they're lining up in, yeah, that's not going to work for you. And getting out coached in the first half is definitely something that you could put out there on the table as a possibility.
I just feel like our coordinators just aren't doing it. And I hate to say it about Butler because he does a great job of getting those guys to get to the ball. We sack people, we cause turnovers, but so many games against good teams, like when we play New England, he's always in bad personnel sets. Like, how many times did Julian Edelman get one-on-one coverage in Vince Williams for 4 straight seasons?
I've seen it before. You're right. These are things that have been repeated.
And I mean, I understand some things are going to happen, but you can't lose the same way over and over because your coaching doesn't want to make the proper decision. And that's very alarming to me. Is that dude invisible?
Yep.
Oh, the noise. Cool. But that's what I have for the game, Gingy. Anything else you saw there?
Just like you said, the big one-hander by Cam Hayward, made big note on that. Real strong. So strong.
Yeah.
And just clutch plays. Turnovers. Win the game again. Ben had none, and the Cowboys had many.
Minka. Ballhawk Minka. I was watching the replay with my wife, and she's like, hey, this is like the opposite of the first 3 weeks. He must have turned his ball magnet back on. And I was like, he fucking did.
Everybody notices. Yeah, he's a huge difference in the game.
Yeah, he is. That dude is a game changer. Thank you, Miami, for sucking last year, because that was a great trade for us, a great first-round pick. Oh, and I didn't mention this, but Miami, how about the showdown between Tua and Kyler Murray, dude?
It's fun to watch.
That was a fun one to watch. Yeah, it was. Another guy I absolutely misjudged was Kyler Murray. I didn't think he'd be a great one in the NFL, but man, as long as that kid stays healthy, he's going to be something.
Heck yeah.
It's like the smaller, better version of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Miller. Wow, that's a running back. And I'm not even sure he plays anymore.
I don't think he is right now, but no, that pretty much sums up week 9 for me. The Steelers squeak out with another one, and we get to see something that we've never seen before.
8-0, baby. And we're up to what, 65 straight games with a sack now? The second longest in NFL history? Is that what we're up to?
So much pressure, and that's what I'm looking forward to this weekend, is pressure on that young Cincinnati quarterback.
Ooh, Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow, by the way.
I
think we're going to make it rough for him, but I think Cincy found a good one.
Yeah, they need to put something around them.
Yeah, I mean, their skill position players are actually not that bad out there.
Tyler Boyd. Is that your number one there?
Dude, yes, and I love Tyler Boyd at Pitt. I was really hoping the Steelers were going to take him because he might not be the flashiest with speed, but you just put the ball around that kid, and he's coming down with it. Kid's one-shot my ex. Unfortunately, got hit in the back. But, I mean, he could catch the ball. Do they still have Eifert there at tight end? I don't even remember their tight ends.
I think they do not.
But I mean, their skill set's not terrible. Their offensive line needs a little bit of work. Their defensive lines, I think Dunlap's not playing, or is Dunlap the one that got traded? One of them got traded, and then the other big one's not playing.
Dunlap got traded.
Okay, I'm going into this the same way I went in last week. They have a team that has a decent set of skill position players. Their quarterback's better than last week. The offensive line's worse than last week for the Cowboys, but it's another game that if the Steelers show up, we win.
We're gonna
if the Steelers don't show up like they did in Dallas, it could be tough.
We're gonna need to see a distinct improvement on the special team side of the ball. I'm calling
That's for
it
sure.
out this
We're
week.
gonna need the offensive line to get a little bit of a push.
Distinct improvement on the offensive line. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about something different next week. But I'm looking for a good AFC. You can't overlook these AFC North, excuse me, North games. But you know, I know the Bengals are the basement team, but this. Why do I have a feeling this is going to be super competitive this week?
I hope it's not. I hope Ben shows up and is accurate from .1 because that'd be nice. I'd like to see an early drive touchdown because, again, the scripted series Steelers are trash. Something I've really been harping on for a long time, and I really, really, really want to see some improvement on, but it hasn't been coming. But I don't know, man. This is a nerve-wracking game for me because it's a game on paper. There's no reason this game should even be close. But it's a game, as we've seen with the Cowboys last week, or the Philly game. It's or the Giants game even. The Steelers are the heart attack team. Like
I'm calling Steelers 28-17. I'd like to see a few good drives put together in a sustained, controlled football game to give our defense a rest.
That would be nice. I think we give up 13 points. And I'm not sure which way I'm leaning. I'm leaning towards 33, or I'm leaning towards 20. I'm not sure which Ben I should put faith in. I think if Ben shows up in the first half, I think we score 30 plus. I think Ben doesn't show up in the first half, I think we win by a touchdown 20-13. I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is a game we lose. I think it's a game that could be competitive, could be. I don't think it's a game that the Bengals really have a chance at winning because I think our defense is a lot better than a lot of teams they've played, and I think our defense will show up again because they always do. And I'm going to be honest, Tyson Alualu's back. That's why I don't think they get more than 13 points.
That's huge. That is huge, Donkey. Tyson Alualu.
He's supposedly going to play. I have 100% faith that he's back. Our defense is absolutely studly again. And then, like I said, the offense has me wondering. I don't know which offense is going to show up. I hope it's a good one. I would love to see Ben start clicking because a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but I agree with a lot of those national experts that are saying the biggest thing holding the Steelers back right now is Ben Roethlisberger's inability to be consistent.
Yeah, I agree. He needs to be accurate from .1, like you said.
Because apparently my goal today was to come on and just piss off all the Yinzers because I'm calling out their boys. I'm calling out Ben. I'm calling out DeCastro, and you know that's the Yinzer family right there, bro.
You're not going to... I mean, if it has to be done, it has to be done. Let's do it now.
Yeah. But
because we're gearing up for November football here, Donkey. We're talking about halfway through the season, more than halfway through the season here.
You're talking the Steelers team that's bringing back those Super Bowl aspirations, the ones that are making you think about 7. That's why I'm being extra critical of this team, is because we're not the Cleveland Browns, we're not the Tennessee Titans. The playoffs aren't the frickin' goal here, dude.
True that.
It's a ring or bust. If we don't get a ring, the season's a failure.
Number 7.
And every Steeler fan knows that. Any season that ends without a ring is a failure. We are here to do one thing. Win Super Bowls. Be the best.
I'm ready.
The standard's the standard, and we're not hitting the standard. As Mike Tomlin would say, that last game was very JV. Thank God the team we played was just a little more JV.
They can do better. They're gonna put one together. Like I said, 28-17. I can't wait to see it. Late game tomorrow, right? 4:25 kickoff.
Yep, I get to watch the Seattle game. Woo! too, so I'll be listening on the radio, which is awesome because I love listening to Tunch.
Nobody wants Seattle. Who is Seattle playing tomorrow? I don't even know.
The Rams, maybe?
That could be.
It was actually a pretty good game. Whoever they were playing, I was like, it's not a terrible game to have to watch. But at the same time, I'm like, but come on now, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't want to watch that shit.
Yeah, seriously, alright.
But I mean, perks of living in Alaska, bro. You know. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Did that dude really snipe you? What a jerk off.
He really did from across the map too.
Oh shit, good stuff. Oh, any shout outs this week, Ginger?
Ooh, I don't know, Donkey. I'm looking for a shout out to Pittsburgh Steelers Nation, baby. Let's go. Steelers fans unite. Wave them if you got them. We're looking at 9-0 with a big AFC North matchup, man. We're getting into some cold weather football. Donkey. Shout out to the fans.
Yeah. AFC North football time, boy.
How about you? What do you got?
Just shout out. Just a shout out to the Steelers. You know what? And I have to give a shout out to Carrie Underwood because her song Cry Pretty wasn't really written with the right words. As me and you have talked about before, you don't have to win pretty. So Carrie Underwood, you should start singing it as, you don't have to win pretty. And that sums up the Steelers season. So you know what? Shout out to the Steelers, because it doesn't have to be pretty if you get it done. A W's a W, 8-0, never been done for us. Wave them towels.
Wave them if you got them.
Be said, baby.
We'll touch base next week, man. Here we go.
And you know what? Everybody else, feel free to hit us up on the socials. Hit us with any of your questions. We'd love to talk about other teams if you want to. Or if you have questions about how we think about the Steelers or how we're stupid because of the way we think about the Steelers, feel free to leave us a comment. We love all the input we can get. And, well, that sounds like a good week for us. And we'll catch you again. Same bad place, same bad time next week.
Mutant Gingy Xbox Live. Wave them if you got them. Let's go Steelers.